Lil Durk was hit with new charges in connection with the alleged murder-for-hire plot targeting Quando Rondo. He's now being charged with 1 count of conspiracy, 1 count of use of interstate facilities to commit murder-for-hire resulting in death, and 1 count of using, carrying, and discharging firearms and a machine gun and possession of such firearms in furtherance of a crime of violence resulting in death. Durk was initially arrested by complaint, which means a grand jury has not considered the evidence and if there's probable cause or not, but now the grand jury has, and they are officially charging him and indicting him. Prosecutors allege that OTF not only produced and sold hip-hop music from Chicago artists, but that is also acted as an association in fact of individuals who engaged in violence, including murder and assault at Banks' direction and to maintain their status in OTF. This sounds exactly like the YSL case, pretty much. They were saying Thug was taking out hits on people. The difference is this is a federal case, so, you know, they went across state lines and did it, and the evidence is probably more damning than what they have on Thug. When the feds coming, they ain't playing, remember. And the one statement that's public right now is prosecutors further allege that when the flights were booked, Banks told the OTF associate, "Don't book no flights under no names involved with me." So definitely a sketchy statement because it shows that he knows they were up to something. You know what I mean? And he's like trying to evade, but it's not much. It doesn't really prove much. They're definitely going to need more than just that statement. On the same day the group traveled to California, prosecutors said Banks and Grant also traveled to LA in a private jet. I didn't know that he was even there. Did y'all? I must have missed that in the last indictment when I read it. After arriving, Grant allegedly bought ski masks and purchased a hotel room for other co-conspirators using a credit card in Banks' name. I didn't know this part. I must have missed that. One of the guys that was on a private jet with Durk went and bought ski masks, then bought a hotel room for people that killed Quando Rondo's cousin. There's definitely a connection there with his credit card being used. I mean, how brain dead? Why wouldn't you get cash or something? All these rappers have fucking cash everywhere. What are we doing? I mean, I know you can't get a hotel room without a card, but whatever. All 6 defendants, none of whom have entered a plea yet to the charges, are expected to be arraigned in the United States District Court in downtown LA in coming weeks. So I think Durk already got transferred to LA like yesterday, literally, from Florida. Our U.S. Attorney Martin Estrada said Mr. Banks is charged with orchestrating a cold-blooded murder that resulted in the death. Not only that, the shooting occurred in open at a gas station at a busy intersection, endangering many others in the area. Violent gun crime of this sort is devastating to our community, and we will have zero tolerance for those who perpetrate such callous acts of violence. U.S. attorneys, don't play any games, man. The apprehension of Mr. Banks as he attempted to leave the United States is once again proof that the FBI and our extraordinary partners at the Los Angeles Police Department have a long reach, said Akil Davis, Assistant Director in charge of FBI Los Angeles Field Office. No excuse can justify the violent act, and let me be clear, while you're going about your life thinking you got away with it, the FBI is piecing together the facts that will serve as your undoing. Jesus Christ. The simple fact that this is a federal case just scares the shit out of me. If I was Durk, dude. He's been arrested for state cases, but federal, man. People that get charged with federal crimes usually don't come out anytime soon. They take a plea and get like 20, 30, 40 years, or they plead not guilty and get sentenced to life. It's very small percentage. Cases like this that span multiple states and jurisdictions are complicated and can oftentimes only be resolved through collaboration of multiple departments, said LA Police Chief Dominic Choi. This arrest is a culmination of the combined efforts of our partners in the U.S. Attorney's Office, the FBI, and LAPD's Operation West Bureau homicide detectives who discovered that Durk, aka Lil Durk, was involved in the heinous murder. The hundreds of hours spent on the investigation include surveillance, authoring numerous search warrants, using forensic technology, and tireless investigative travel. And collaboration alongside our federal partners led to the arrest.
Bring in Megan Cuniff. She is our legal affairs journalist. Megan, thank you so much for being with us here on Live Now. Again, we just got this update today. 2 new charges.
This is a really good reporter right here, but her glasses, bro, kill me every time, man. They're so funny. I mean, I know I'm a nerd too, but hers are crazy for some reason.
This federal case, what are your thoughts initially as you saw that update come out?
Really nothing new in the indictment. This is just the feds getting ready for him to come back to Los Angeles and giving him co-defendants in the indictment. He was arrested on a complaint, so it would be totally standard for them to then go and seek a grand jury indictment. And actually his co-defendants were arrested on a grand jury indictment a few weeks ago, but the indictment actually didn't name Lil Durk. He was arrested afterward.
Yeah, they were saying co-conspirator won the whole indictment. So they're just basically like combining them, right? Like that's what I would say, right?
Basically combining the case.
Okay, I swear I've not seen this. I swear I've not seen this. I literally just clicked it. That was weird, bro.
And tightening up the charges, tightening up the case as they prepare for the arraignment here.
And again, this one is interesting because there are also 6 other defendants in this case as well. And on social media, the case and just the conversation about this stems back to November of 2020. This is when one of the other people on his record label, I should say rapper King Von, was killed. This is after he got into a fight with Quando Rondo. So this case, as it's coming out and we're learning more details, has been in the works for a long time because, again, the original issue stemmed from 4 years ago now at this point.
Yes, this was a long time coming, and you can tell there was a really long investigation into this. And just based on the indictment, the surveillance images that the federal prosecutors have released, it sounds like they have built quite a case here, and they're definitely ready for it to be in court.
I don't know about ready. They probably need a little bit more time, but I'd say they're probably 95% done. They're probably wrapping it up now. The trial's still probably not going to start for a year, if I were to guess, if it goes to trial.
So I do want to read off some additional charges that we do know that the FBI has now charged Lil Durk with. This is 1 count of conspiracy, 1 count of interstate facilities to commit murder for hire resulting in death, 1 count of using, carrying, and discharging firearms and a machine gun, and possession of such firearms, furtherance of a crime of violence resulting in death. So we should also note that in this case, it wasn't actually the rapper Quando Rondo who was injured. It was a friend of his who was shot and killed in this.
Cousin.
As well. So when you're talking about the implications of this and going forward with these charges, do you see where he's going to end up with the federal government in this case? Obviously, we do know Young Thug just beat some of his charges in his case, but that was a state case. This is a completely different ballgame here.
Yeah, and Young Thug didn't beat his charges. He actually pleaded guilty and no contest and is now on probation for 15 years. So I don't think, and if he violates it, he's going to go to prison for 20. So I don't think we're going to see a plea deal, probation plea deal, or it wasn't a plea deal, it was an open plea, but I don't think we're going to see a plea like that in this case.
Fuck no. Dude, any plea is going to be 40 years or something insane.
See this go to trial, but I am experienced with one of the prosecutors in particular. I've covered trials that he's done, prison murder trials, other things like that. So he's very experienced in cases like this. So if they want to try to take this to trial, I'm sure the prosecutors would be happy to try it. If they want any kind of plea agreement just based on the charges, I think they're looking at a hefty amount of time in prison. So it'll be interesting to see what kind of defense they get. We haven't seen a big offensive defense from him yet, but that could be coming.
And lastly, before I let you go, Megan, another interesting piece of this case, the federal government did say that Lil Durk tried to flee before being arrested, buying several plane tickets to international locations. Do you think that will play a role when it comes down to this case heading to trial potentially and what his sentence could be overall?
I think that will definitely matter if he tries to get any kind of bail situation. The prosecutors are going to be pointing to that outright. Whether that will matter if he is convicted at sentencing, I think that the charges by themselves will stand alone, but that...
He ain't getting no bail, I can tell you that right now. Ain't no way. All right, so I got the file of the new indictment for Durk. He's 2010, he formed OTF. Banks is the leader of OTF. Defendants Kayvon London Grant, DeAndre Wilson, or Didi, Asa Houston or Boogie. Co-conspirators 2 through 5 were members or associates of OTF. Keith Jones, aka Flocka, and David Brian Lindsay, aka Brown Eyes, are members of other gangs. Following the attempted murder of TB and the murder of SR, defendant Banks sought to commercialize SR's death by rapping about his revenge on TB with music that especially referenced audio from a news clip taken shortly after SR's murder where TB screamed "No, no" after seeing SR's dead body. Oh no, here we go with lyrics, boys. Told me they got an Addy, go, go. Got location, go, go. Green light, go, 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 go. Look on the news and see your son. You screaming, no, no, pussy. So this is literally the scene right here. And this is Quando Rondo screaming, no, no. And that's what he's allegedly referencing.
A shooting that started in Los Angeles, California. Sheriff's deputies pulling out a man who had been shot in an SUV. Savannah rapper Quando Rondo, a passenger in that car, frantic.
So obviously a very tragic scene. This is This is so messy, bro. This is really bad. The lyrics are pretty vague. It all depends on what judge they get, and I think the judge is gonna let this end. They let this shit end in the YSL trial. I don't see why not. His lawyer's gonna fight it. You know how I feel about lyrics. Like I feel like it's, you know, it's an art form. It needs to be directly connected, and the no part might be enough for a judge to let it in. So that's the issue here. Like him literally quoting no from the video, it might be enough. The lyrics they were letting in the YSL trial were insane. Like actually insane. Some of them had remember they said he's got snipers behind him. They tried to connect Thug to a car that was behind him that was pulled over and had weapons in it. Bullshit like that was so stupid. Another issue is these are rental cars directly linked back to them and their own camera following and hunting down the Escalade that they were in. So looks like they're using lyrics, boys. That's all we learned today pretty much. So yeah, hit subscribe. I love you guys. Thanks for the support. Peace out.